finance and economic news this week. We're joined by the Managing Director of BFG Financial Services, Suzanne Haddan. Suzanne, thanks for being back here. Westpac. What is going on with Westpac?
Well, if you're a shareholder, it's just more pain, more pain, more pain. I mean, we've got $6 billion wiped off the value of shares in Westpac, and we've got the pending almost potentially $1 billion or more in fines from Austrac for them being asleep at the wheel as far as compliance go.
Is that a lot for a company like Westpac?
Well, it's more than Commonwealth had to pay. It's $700 million, but the SINs are a bigger list. It could actually be more than the GDP of Australia if the full fines were applied, but I suspect that won't actually happen.
You know what, Suzanne, I was looking last week at what the actual full potential fines are if they were found guilty of everything and they were fined. It was more than the GDP of the world.
It was
more money than exists in the world. So they're not going to be fined that much.
No, and just couple it with they're also doing a capital raising, issuing more shares, and the institutions have already committed to over $25 per share, so they're not happy, Jan. And then we've got the retail mums and dads who have put in for buying more shares, but at least they can cancel their commitment if they wish to, if they applied earlier.
Now, despite Westpac shares taking a bit of a hit, the actual Aussie share market hit some highs this week. What was behind that? Well,
we certainly are in record territory. Most of that happened on Wednesday. Our Governor, Philip Lowe, outlined some of his views on what might happen. For example, he outlined that quantitative easing, remember they buy back bonds and put money in the economy, isn't likely to occur unless they cut interest rates down to 0.25%, which is still a possibility. And he also reassured us that negative interest rates weren't on the cards. But I think the share market took the view more cuts to come, so share market more attractive.
I like that you call quantitative easing the buying of bonds by instead of just calling it printing money.
That's basically what it is.
Layperson's way of saying it.
That's exactly right.
More banknotes.
Just print a few more.
There's an interesting piece in ABC News that I wanted to get your thoughts on, which is that Bridget Judd, who is in her 20s, did this experiment basically and said, look, I have a middle income and I don't have a lot of savings, so as a prototype of the kind of Gen Y millennial, perhaps I should see a mortgage broker and a financial planner and see where my financial affairs are at. Is this something that you recommend that all people in their 20s should do, and what's the low-hanging fruit?
Okay. Couple of key takeouts, because that was a warts and all. The great thing was here we have a millennial who's saying, I can accept responsibility for some of my very poor spending habits and I want to change. But the takeouts are budget, budget, budget. Go to the moneysmart.gov.au site. There's some great tools there to help you. I know it's no fun, but think of the outcomes. Maybe you'll get a deposit for a home. The other concept I want to introduce is let's bring back board. Do you actually know what board is? It's when your mum and dad, when you live at home, they take part of your money to pay for you to live there.
I think I can hear parents across Australia applauding you right now.
That's going to be my goal for two reasons. First of all, it teaches you to spend less than you earn. And young people, get your job at IGA, start paying board, maybe 20% of what they earn. Secondly, if parents are very generous and don't want it into household revenue, they can also save it and get them on their journey to building up their deposit for the first home, so when the time comes, they actually take less of your money and more of their own.
You were part of the group that was giving advice to Bridget, and let's just have a look, because she broke down some of her spending habits. There were some essentials and then some more frivolous spending habits. So she's got the bills, the living expenses and the non-essentials broken up here. What sort of advice did you give her?
Well, the main thing was that when you commit to savings, we need to get the money somewhere where you can't touch it. I'm a great lover of the First Home Super Saver scheme. I mention it every opportunity I get. And what we did, we took Bridget's savings of $400 a month, converted it to pre-tax amount of $610, and then got her to see her employer, the ABC, which I hope she's done by now, and salary sacrificed that into superannuation. And that actually improved her savings from $20,000 over 4 years or so to $28,000. But importantly, she never got the money in her hand to spend. And she felt that was going to help her stop that non-essential spending.
So out of sight, out of mind type thing.
Yeah, we're all human. We all want to enjoy ourselves. So let's get the money off the people before they get a chance to spend it and build some wealth.
It's so true. I was saying to Joe just the other day that when I earned $40,000 a year, I thought, wow, when I earn $80,000 a year, I'll have so much money, I'll be able to save lots. And then when you earn $80,000 a year, you go, I don't have any money left over. You don't have money left over. You got to save first, and then so you're not even looking at the money that you're saving because you're never going to save it last.
That's exactly right, Josh. And you need to have buckets of money. So you need to separate out what is there for bills and what is there for your discretionary spending. And that's where a budget helps you. I'm into guilt-free spending, and a budget gives you that.
And no pain, no gain. With Bridget,
exactly.
She did experience a little bit of pain having to cut down on some of her spending. But I suppose that gets easier over time once you establish good habits.
Habit forming. It's like most things, whether it's exercise, losing weight, what you eat. Habit forming is the way to go, but let's give them some help along the way with a good budget.
One of the best things about being young as well is hopefully your income is going to go up, and so as you get a higher income you can bank it and you don't have to change your behaviour because you're already living at the lower income. I sometimes say to young people, imagine if the government just increased taxes by like 10% of your overall income. You'd find a way to live.
You absolutely
just pretend
would.
that it's like that.
That's exactly right, but most people adapt their living to their new income status with glee.
Suzanne, great to talk to you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne.